Berenstein,
I'm here.
Bertrand, Rayford,
Here.
Shaner. Here. Scott.
Here, could we stand for a moment of silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could I have Mike Armstrong and Veronica Gira meet me at the podium, please?
Sure. I appreciate your time today, Mayor, Council, members of Sioux City. I'm Mike Armstrong with the Iowa League of Cities, and we work alongside other groups such as the Iowa Mayors Association to do a number of ways to recognize our local governments and the citizens who champion local governments. One of the most enjoyable contests we run is a 7th grade essay contest across Iowa, where we invite students to answer the question, if you were mayor for a day, what would you do for your hometown? What would be your priorities? What are your values? We've done this for over 10 years, so I've seen a lot of different essays, and this year we had 350 plus submissions. So it's a competitive group. We only hand out 4, 1 per congressional district. So today I'm here with Veronica Guerra, who is the winner for District 4. She had a fantastic essay all about Sioux City. For the league, you all hosted our annual conference 2 years ago, so I already know a lot of the great things here and the things you're striving to do. But this was a fantastic essay, and the panel of mayors from the Iowa Mayors Association fell in love with it and really thought that this exemplified what we wanted to see in our future leaders. So with that, I'll turn it over to Veronica.
First, I'd like to thank the judges for choosing my essay. I am also very grateful to my principal, Ms. Fisher, for supporting my family and helping to make it possible for me to attend this school. I want to thank my parents who came to this country and worked hard to give me and my siblings opportunities they didn't always have growing up. Their sacrifices inspire me every day, and I wish to become a hardworking person like them. They remind me how important it is that we stay united and support one another no matter where we come from. And thank you to my siblings for always encouraging me and believing in me. I am really honored to be here and to be the first student from Sioux City to win since the program started in 2014. Thank you all for coming, and I am proud to represent my family, my community, and the values they raised me with. Thank you.
Very nice.
I think we need to see a copy of that, so I hope somebody from the school will get it to the city. Second of all, this young lady's my hero, because for years I was on that league board and I tried to get somebody from Sioux City to write one of these and win. So thank you for finally being a winner. And with that, the league has got a nice plaque for you to remember. So thank you very much. Yeah, let's get it. Okay. All right, thank you guys.
Very nice. Congratulations.
All right, we'll go to an interview for Human Rights Commission with Meredith Lehman. Meredith, come on up and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to serve.
Hi, my name's Meredith Lehman. I go by Mary Like Christmas. I moved to the Sioux City area about 2 years ago now. I was raised in Des Moines, Iowa. From there, I received my undergraduate degree from the University of Iowa. I went and traveled to the South. I spent a year in Texas and then discovered that law school was where I needed to be next. I moved to Georgia, completed my Juris Doctorate there. I worked in private practice for a couple of years and then transitioned into prosecution. After a couple of years in prosecution, it finally hit me that I was homesick and I missed my family here in Northwest Iowa. I moved back about 2 years ago, and I am in-house counsel for Great West Casualty Company in South Sioux. I'm really excited to be considered for the Human Rights Commission. I have a lot of training in the legal profession. I've met a lot of vulnerable individuals through my career, and I'd like the opportunity to continue that work up here.
Questions?
Thanks for your application. Thanks for moving back to Sioux City. Nice to have you back.
Glad to be here.
Definitely
thank
glad
you.
to have you apply and get busy.
All right, we'll let you know. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Appreciate it. We'll move to the consent agenda, which items 3 through 12B. Consider these items to pass unanimously unless a separate roll call vote is requested by a council member. If you want to speak on an item, please come to the podium as I read that item. If you want to speak on an item not on the agenda, please come up under citizen concerns. I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
3 is a reading of the March 16th council minutes. 4 is a resolution authorizing the issuance of geo-capital loan notes and levying a tax for the payment. 5 are actions relating to grants. A is a resolution authorizing the Historic Preservation Commission to submit a target grant application to MERD for funding the digitalization of the city records.
Can I ask a question on this item? Is this, Wade, so what's the total amount of the project and how do the tax credits apply? There are federal and state historic tax credits?
This would be to get more resources in a digital manner to eventually be able to use some of that stuff. Currently, Wade Schultz planning and also historic preservation liaison. But also to kind of give you a little bit of backstory, the OCR, which is optical character recognition, has gotten really good. And so getting this stuff off of microfilm and what have you will make it a lot more easy to access and get to and find things going forward.
So what do you anticipate the total cost of the project to be?
It's expensive. It's probably close to 100K.
Okay. So you're getting 25 in a grant possibly.
Yes. And then there's an upcoming HRDB grant, which is through the Historical Society of Iowa, which is also another 50. So we're applying for that, and there will be another grant application.
So then what's the applicability of the tax credit program?
So we want to so part of this is a lot of the consultants that are writing these, because the National Register nominations have become small dissertations. And so having this ability to have this stuff that's digital and being able to access from not necessarily here but remotely, it would be advantage. But also, and I will attest, we get a fair amount of calls between the different departments within the city asking for references or how to access this information. Right now, it's all in a very analog format that's, in essence, kind of deteriorate.
No, I think I understand the need for the program. I'm just curious about the funding and trying to understand how the tax credit program works.
Well,
are those tax credits that are sold and then?
This would be for long term, going forward, to be able to put these National Register nominations so that they could apply for National Register tax credits and so forth. So.
Thanks.
B is a resolution authorizing the Environmental Services Division to submit a grant application to MERD for a target grant for matching program for lid lock bars on commercial dumpster lids.
What's the total amount of this project? And is it an assessment on, I know you're trying to split the cost.
Correct, air monitoring environmental services. I don't have the total amount yet. I'm waiting on one waste hauler, a larger one. But I do know Gale hauling alone was $220,000 to add them. So yes, we were trying to maybe figure out a cost share program, but we're still working on that. And that will come up, I think, April 6th on the agenda.
Great, thank you.
C is a resolution authorizing acceptance of a surface transportation block grant and carbon reduction program funding agreements with Simcoe Metropolitan Planning Organization. D is a resolution approving contract amendment number 1 with the IEDA for Community Development Block Grant, Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economic Act funds. E is a resolution approving First Amendment to the CDBG subrecipient agreement with the Warming Shelter for Homeless Shelter Operations. 6 are actions relating to street closures. A is a resolution temporarily closing a portion of Pierce Street on May 17th for the Bishop Heelan High School graduation reception. B is a resolution temporarily closing a portion of Pierce Street on May 9th for the Briarcliff University commencement reception. 7 are actions adopting construction documents. A is a resolution adopting plans and specs for the Gordon Drive water main and sanitary sewer early relocation package project. B is a resolution adopting plans and specs for the Parkview Boulevard water main replacement project. 8 are actions relating to agreements and contracts. A is a resolution authorizing staff to proceed with negotiations with Confluence to formulate a consultant services agreement for headed ball field relocation project.
Can I, a question on this? I don't know, Matt, is this, so when are you going to start looking to marketing this project, the relocation?
Matt Salvatore, Parks and Recreation Director. Do you mean to let the public know?
No, to mean entities, foundations, those that are interested in helping market and support with naming rights and otherwise?
We met with Headed about that possibility. They're actually taking the lead, and we're going to help support them how we can.
Are they going to try for a national or a major league grant?
No, but I'll suggest
They have
that.
all kinds of them now.
We'll look into that.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
That's a big deal right now.
Thanks, Matt.
B is a resolution approving a contract to McGinnis Roofing for the Fire Training Center roof replacement project. C is a resolution approving a school resource officer agreement with the Sioux City Community School District for certified police officers to serve as school resource officers.
I had a chance to visit with Nicole this morning on this relationship. I had some questions, not necessarily concerns, but just on the hold harmless and indemnity language, making sure that we were clear on which parties were responsible, that we have adequate insurance, and Nicole told me that they've reviewed the agreement, and I think it's in good shape.
D is a resolution approving a post-construction stormwater management plan maintenance agreement and easement with BNC for a detention basin and accepting a permanent easement. E is a resolution granting a permit to Metro FiberNet to maintain underground fiber ending adjacent to 2203 Nebraska Street. Wonder why they still call it Metro FiberNet, because they got bought out by T-Mobile, because I just hooked it up to my house and you go through T-Mobile now. Are we
Their application and bonding is all in the original name.
Well, I'm just telling you, there is no.
Check on them.
It's true.
Gordon Fair, city engineer. Yeah, that was put on their application, so we go with what they say.
Well, is it?
Is it a recent application? I mean, because it is true that they have been bought
Yeah, it
out.
was 3 weeks ago we got it.
Okay. F is a resolution approving a temporary longitudinal pipeline agreement with the Union Pacific Railroad for the rehabilitation of the old Bacon Creek sanitary sewer. Oh, come on. G is a resolution approving a pipeline license agreement with BNSF Railway for the temporary sanitary sewer bypass pipeline crossing the old Bacon Creek sanitary sewer. H is a resolution approving a pipeline license agreement with BNSF Railway for the 48-inch sanitary sewer pipeline crossing the old Bacon Creek sanitary sewer project. I is a resolution approving a work order with RS&H for the South Apron Reconstruction Phase 2 project at the airport. 9 are actions authorizing payments. A is a resolution authorizing payment to C.W. Suter & Sons for the Art Center HVAC replacement project Phase 1. I need to abstain, conflict of interest. B is a resolution authorizing payment to Midwest Constructors for the Marina Gang Plank Repair Project. 10 are purchasing. A is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Hutchinson Salt for rock salt. B is a resolution authorizing a purchase order to Lenco Armored Vehicles for one Lenco Bearcat Armored Rescue Vehicle.
I just have one question, and I see Captain is here. And-
Ryan Bertrand, Captain, Sioux City PD.
And I know we had talked about this during the budget hearing. Is Lenco the only place that you guys look for this type of vehicle, or are there other, I mean, were there bids or anything?
So I would consider this like in the category of a sole source vendor. It's a very niche kind of manufacturing. They're specifically designed, these guys are the main proprietor of this type of vehicle. There are different facilities that can up-mod certain vehicles or work with the refurbished military ones like we have presently. But these guys are the sole source. One of the questions I was going to jump on, because I didn't get a chance to speak when you asked it in an earlier meeting, was secondhand vehicles.
That was me.
Okay, Julie, sorry. Great, that's a great question. And what ends up happening with these I would equate to kind of like trying to find a nice Toyota or a nice Honda at a used car dealer. You're not going to see them because when they come up for sale, they either get the departments that have them hang on to the used ones, or other agencies have already spoke for them. So they get picked up as
Did you
fast.
exhaust that?
Say again?
Did exhaust that?
I did not. I did not look.
Did you
So
look a little bit before this happened?
we can, yep, we certainly
I
can.
mean, the money's coming, but it doesn't mean that we have to spend it if you would get lucky and find something.
Would you have any idea, Julie, what kind of time period would you like me to have for getting that look? I'm sure I could get back to you right away, is the reason why I'm asking the question. I think I could get a response really quick. Okay.
I have a question. Isn't this funded in the next fiscal year?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. Didn't we just approve this purchase?
Yes.
Then they have to build it, so. I
It's,
think it was
and the
28.
other thing is there is so in demand, it's an 18-month lead
Right.
time.
Oh, it is 18 months.
So there's a,
Teresa Fitch, Finance Director. This is actually funded by a transfer out, so it's not being bonded, so we are able to move forward with it, provided that you've agreed and allowed us to balance the budget. If it were bonded, we would not allow them to purchase it early, but because it's not bonded, it's a transfer in. They are able to do
Transfer
so.
in from some of their money, but the whole thing wasn't transferred in, was it?
It was actually, remember, it was the public safety COVID funds and their, yep.
Wasn't there a
I
pricing
still want to pull.
timing as well?
Yeah, there's a pricing increase if we don't purchase it. Ryan would know more about that, but there was a $15,000 pricing increase just from the time that we brought it to you and the initial that we put into that wrap-up.
And I'm definitely not against it. I mean, Chief wouldn't ask for it if he didn't feel it was a necessity. I just was wondering about the,
so I looked a little bit at some numbers, 27 SWAT deployments since 2023. 12 of those were shooting or firearms-related suspects specifically, and 2 of those incidents we were shot at or fired upon by the suspect. So our current vehicle doesn't have a turret. We've tried to put a ballistic panel up as a makeshift turret. At the Hornick deal, we actually thought we took fire at that. It's not designed for that. That would have been a disaster. This particular model would have a purpose-built cupola that would provide protection, and we deploy these on every single incident that we can just for the protection that it provides. So since 2012, there has been no other single thing that has changed our tactics, such as this vehicle. Hands down, not even anything close.
ask you for one more thing. Got the cameras rolling, it's a good time to clarify. Some folks on social media feel as though we already have one, and why isn't that one good enough? And now you've explained to us, and the chief has the differences in these vehicles. Can you please tell us what the current one actually is?
Yeah, the current vehicle we have is a military surplus vehicle. The military designation is called MRAP. It's a mine-resistant personnel carrier that was designed for overseas operations.
Not a SWAT vehicle.
It is not at all a SWAT vehicle. The price was right. We got it on a military surplus program. That vehicle came in about $750,000 would have been the price tag on that if we had to pay for it. We basically just had to get it from Texas up to here. We've painted it black so that it doesn't look like a desert vehicle because it was originally in a tan desert kind of paint configuration. But that vehicle is extremely tall, it's extremely wide, it's massive. We're so thankful to have the armor, we're so thankful to have the protection, but navigating certain city streets is a real difficulty. And let alone like back alleys with tree cover and alleys, some of our alleys are covered. Not only is it a police SWAT response vehicle, the rescue tag also is appropriate in that if we had someone that was pinned down in the library parking lot from a sniper, this vehicle would allow us to come in, provide protection to rescue
A
them.
new one.
Or natural disaster response, which we have plenty of those around here. It is a four-wheel drive vehicle, so it can survive like if we had high winds or tornado response, which we have them around here. It's something that we could safely drive to get people in and out of dangerous areas.
Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome.
Is the 405,000 purchase price, is it guaranteed for 10 days, 30 days? If we did ask you to take a quick look at, to Julie's point, used vehicles?
Yeah, I think they would honor that. They were right before CIP happened. There was another additional bump that they were requesting. I asked them to hold off on that. I said, we're so close here. Could you give us a stay on that? They had changed a part, some fuel pump or something on it that they've changed. I think they would. I could certainly ask. I think they would probably be up for that.
If they are, that's great. And if they're not,
yep, and I'd be glad to check. I'd be glad to check. It just, they're, again,
don't
like
miss
finding a
it if they
used
say no.
Toyota, they're going to be hard to find. So,
Right.
thank you.
Thank you.
I still have a lot of reservations about this, and I have them, and something, like I said, will happen to a police officer. It's not about protecting our police officers. I want to do that, but two reasons. You can tell me all the times you use it, but the county has one, and we ought to be about sharing these type of things. And the other thing is, there are still people in this community, I think rightfully so, that are worried about the going military with the police department. And that's a concern of mine. I know it's not for you, and I get that, but it is, I sit in a different territory.
Yeah, understood.
Today, I don't want any officer getting hurt, and if it saves a life, but it's just, man, this just comes up, and all of a sudden, we're buying the darn thing without a whole lot of discussion, quite frankly. It came up in budget a month ago. Now we already got a purchase.
We're ready to move on it.
If I may, Mayor, I understand the concern, I understand the appearance, the optics. The best that I could offer to that would be is to frame the context of what it is we actually do. You know, I think a lot of the things that we've talked about in this council the last few months as being issues in the community, there are dangerous people, and we have officers that are ready to go do these things, and we're getting shot at. That's a real deal. This is an easy solution.
But the couple that I know that got shot at, this vehicle wouldn't have made a darn bit of difference because they were in their cars or they were in the front porch, and
That's not exactly accurate.
well, it's very accurate.
We took direct fire.
The two police officers that we lost, this vehicle would not have helped them.
Immediately, yes, sir, it would have, because the suspect holed up into a residence, and again, the SWAT team responded to that, had to end up digging the person out of an attic who was hiding in an attic.
I'm talking way back when. You know who I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the most recent one. I get that.
We're definitely sensitive to optics and concerns of militarization, but also, you know, as a tactical planner who's charged with a certain mission of protecting citizens and officers alike, it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate reality.
I really, Captain, appreciate, this, and of course, I was that person that had concerns, and I just had a citizen reach out to me today, just voicing concerns. This isn't Chicago, or this isn't, all of those things that can come with that, and so I share the sentiments of the mayor, because I don't want anything to ever happen to you guys, but sometimes we do have to look deeper in the why behind what we do, and so. But yeah, if we can get it cheaper, or we can, do something different, great. But otherwise, let's do what we got to do.
Thanks, Captain.
11 are applications for alcohol
I
license.
thought you were going to call the vote. Would you like it pulled?
No,
Right.
let it go. It's not gonna make any difference, and all I'm gonna do is make the police union mad. I've done that enough. I don't need to do it today. 12 are boards, commission, and committee minutes. This concludes the consent agenda. Anybody want to be heard on any of those items? If not, we'll vote.
Couple questions, real quick, Mr. Mayor. On number, is it 7B? I had two people reach out to me. That's the Parkview water main. Gordon in here? On that, the question they had was, are they going to close all of Parkview on that when they put that water main in, or are they going to still have access to the houses?
They'll still
I
have
got a couple little ladies that are nervous, huh?
Yes, they'll still
So
have that.
they're not actually going to do a full street closure on that, so we're good?
Yes, that's correct. We're having a public meeting tomorrow on it.
It is. I will let her know that. She was worried about that, and then driveways. Are they going to bore driveways, or are they going to bust out
They'll
driveways?
probably bust those out.
They're going to bust, they're not going to bore?
No, but they'll patch them back that night. They'll probably be out of their driveway for maybe a week while the concrete cures.
And then the timeline start to completion?
I can't answer that. I don't have that on top of my head.
Okay, those are
Sorry.
the three they had there. And then the other question I had was on 5E, which is the warming shelter. Who's representing that? Hi, Jill.
Hi.
Hey, why don't you walk us through what this is? Educate me.
Sure, Jill Waterstein, Neighborhood Services Manager. The state of Iowa had some surplus CDBG CVs, so these are COVID funds clear back from 2020 that they wanted to allocate. And so last year we received funds that could only be used for shelter operations, and they dictated which shelters. And so the state had selected the warming shelters. They initially got the 125,000. And then we got 1,500 for admin, because we're basically a pass-through. We're just subrecipient. That's not even a word, but subrecipienting it to the warming shelter. And then they came back again and said, hey, we have another round of funding that we don't want to send back to the feds. We want to give this out here in Iowa. So they asked if we'd take another 10,000. So that's when we brought the application forward, applied for that, and then now we'll subrecipient that to them if approved today.
Is there a difference between a warming shelter and a homeless shelter in this grant size?
I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah, you do. Is there a difference between a warming shelter and a homeless shelter in the eyes of getting this money? 'Cause you said that-
No. So basically, all they said was it cannot be a special use shelter, meaning like it can't be safe place. The state dictated to us in Sioux City, this is the shelter you can give it to.
So
That answer I'm not sure.
I'm just trying to figure out the classification. Did they classify it, the state, is it classified as a homeless shelter or a warming shelter? What does the state recognize this facility as?
They use the term homeless shelter.
That's what I thought. That's what
Yeah.
I read too. And
Yep.
and we recognize it as a warming shelter, correct?
But that's just the name, right?
Yeah, that's their
Yeah,
501c3
the
name.
warming shelter is the
Yeah.
proper name
Is the
of
name,
that
Yep.
it's a
entity.
homeless
Yeah.
shelter.
Yeah, sorry, I see what you're getting at now.
Okay. Well, as naive as I am to this thing, well, I just know that the downtown partners, the police department, the chamber, and economic development is all on record saying that we need to address the homeless or the warming shelter, whatever you want to call it. That it is becoming a nuisance. It is a nuisance. Let's get through the cold weather. I'd like to have them come in and present to this new council.
Sure.
And just really educate us. I'm not,
Yeah,
I'm not one way or the other. I just think it's time for this new council to get educated as we throw more money at something that I think probably needs to find a new home at some place, just from a safety and an economic standpoint. It's the elephant in the room, and we're through the budget. Now it's time to start tackling these things. And so I would just encourage that maybe reach out and I would love to have them present to the new
But
council on that
I
end
think
of
the
it.
last time they presented was a while ago. I'm trying to remember. Anyone remember?
Might have been when they.
6 months ago or so?
Might have been
Yeah.
when the council gave them a bunch of money. I think I meant the last time.
No.
Um,
Well, we're
the,
not giving them this.
Good. I know
if
that,
we
but
said
I get that.
handling it
No,
and
I
giving
get
it to
that.
them.
Yeah,
The,
if we said, just to clarify a little bit more,
Sure.
if we said no, which you definitely, that's the decision you can make, then it goes back to the state, and the state will allocate it to a different city, is basically what happens.
And lastly,
You
on
can't
the.
use it for anything else.
Thanks. Thank you, Jill. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. So I just want to let's get them in front of us. That'd be great.
Thank you.
And then lastly is on the Bearcat, Captain, I agree. I think I want to applaud you on the speed of getting this bid, getting it out, getting the thing ordered, saving us some money. A huge proponent of it. The world has changed. They have different weaponry. They got drugs, they got danger, and this council's not going to have that. And I think we all agree with that this is a tool you're going to use. It syncs up. I'm excited to hear the council say that we should be blending more activity with the county when it comes to, especially on law enforcement. And I think in the next 10 months, we're going to have an opportunity to really dive into some of the sharing things that we can do from training and other things. And so I just would encourage my, my fellow council members to have an open mind when it comes to blending. There's a great opportunity in the near future for us with the county. Other than that, that's all I got on the agenda there. Thank you.
And I just had one, and maybe Teresa can help me with this, or Gordon or something, but 7A, I believe it is. When I was looking at, you know, that financial impact of that, and just for more understanding, so if I'm seeing it right, it says that the cost would be, what, 1.3 million, but the CIP there currently has a negative balance. Like, how does that work in that situation?
So right now, you're just, Teresa Fitch, Finance Director. Right now, you're just adopting the plans and specifications, so we're not awarding anything at this time. But it does indicate that in FY27, there's been a request for funding, so that funding will be utilized once they go out to bid and award the contract to somebody.
So then, is that account, does it grow somewhere, or, I mean, how do?
So it will actually, well, there won't be actually any expenses. We'll encumber the funds, we'll look negative, but then we'll fund it with our GO bonds once we fund the GO bonds. So we have the ability to move projects forward 60 days before we actually issue the bonds, which will happen in March. So we're just right about at the 60-day mark right now, but this is actually just for the specifications and plans. So we won't do that until probably about, a few weeks from now, I would assume. So
Thank you.
we watch that, and we do not let them push them forward unless they have funding or we have the ability to do so. So
I appreciate
yep.
that.
Thank you.
Passes 5-0. Recommendations to Planning and Zoning and Board of Adjustment. 13 is a motion acknowledging the Board of Adjustment actions of March 10th. I'll move that.
Second?
Passes 5-0. 14 is a hearing and ordinance vacating a portion of the north-south alley abutting lots on 10 and 23 in the block bounded by Fifth Avenue, Glen Avenue, South 10th Street, and South Clinton Streets. The petitioner is Clarence Gordon. P&Z recommends denial. I'll move that.
Second. Oh, either way.
Public hearing's now open.
Andrew Gleiser, Planning and Zoning Chair, if you guys have any questions. They wanted to vacate a section in the middle of the alley. We do not,
They had already started doing some of their work as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they've done some work in the alley on city property already, and they really, at the end of the day, just wanted to put a carport on, which there's another way around that other than vacating the alley. So we were there's 6-1 abstained from the vote, so.
Are you guys working with them, or they just they stopped?
I don't know.
I thought I saw a
Chris or
plan.
Wade or anybody.
I did see an opportunity for them to find a new path.
That's what's
Yes.
No,
done.
Yeah.
Right.
Chris Magin, Planning Manager. We have received a variance application for that. That would be heard by the Board of Adjustment on April 4th.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Well, let me ask a question, because we've kind of been, I won't say jacking the guy around a little bit, but we kind of have. If that was the path you wanted him to go, why did you have him spend, this is what bothers me. If this was your path that you thought was the road of least resistance, that he could get what he wanted, why did we put him through this?
That was our advice to the petitioner, was to look at either a minor modification or a variance.
He came to this council and we said, do that. Why did you not stand up that night and say, we don't think that's the best way? I mean, that's what I'm asking. We make citizens pay for things that they shouldn't have to pay for then.
We did waive the fee for the variance request.
Don't get it. I just don't get it. But
Point, Mr. Mayor. Well received.
alls we've done is take up another month and a half. If this were, you guys in planning should have stood up that night and say, we don't think this is the right way. We think we can accomplish what the gentleman wants with a Board of Adjustment. What am I missing? Right? I mean, shouldn't you?
I don't believe we were in attendance at this meeting. He did come to us the next day and filled out the application.
Okay. Well, okay. Hearing's now closed. So if you vote yes, you are,
Denying it.
no, you vote. You have to vote no too.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So we're not voting to accept your recommendation. We are voting on the application itself.
Gotcha.
Correct, it's as presented, as applied for.
I'll just register my.
What did he want to do? Was he good at the variance?
That's not in front of
He
us.
has no guarantee he's going to get a variance.
That's good, what I was asking. It's like, so as we,
He's gonna go back to,
Yeah, he's gonna come back to us with
back to him.
request for a variance.
how you feeling there?
I think we'll vote that through. To you. I think everybody will approve of that and send it off. So, it was just closing the alley, dead end alleys. We kind of we're really trying to oppose to that, even though there isn't much access through there.
No access through it.
Right.
Unless you're a billy goat. You couldn't get a line truck through that if you set a
I'll get a truck
Caterpillar
back
ahead.
there to change that pole, I promise.
But, I think that we did right by, because when he came, he just came and said, this is what I want, and we suggested that he go to staff and do that. And so I appreciate, right, which he did, and so this is the process. And so I think.
I get that, Ike, but if these guys had a problem, they should have called the council and said, we don't think this is we should put the guy.
I don't think they had that information at that time, though.
This guy's been working on this deal for a long time. I know that for a fact, but it is what it is. Denied 4-1. 15 is a hearing and ordinance rezoning 6302 Harbor Drive. The petitioners, Nelson Engineering Construction, p and Z recommends approval. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard?
We voted for that on a 6-0-1 vote.
Yep, hearing's now closed. Passes 5-0. Anybody opposed to waiving the statutory rule?
No.
I'll move it.
Do I have a second? Did I miss it? Okay, thank you. Bertrand,
Aye.
Rayford,
Aye.
Shaner, Scott,
Aye.
Berenstein.
Aye.
I'll move second, third.
Second.
Rayford,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Berenstein,
Aye.
Bertrand.
Hearing 16 is a hearing and resolution assessing a $300 civil penalty against Pronto Express for violation of the cigarette laws. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed.
So I have just a quick question. If they violate that violation, more than once, does that escalate in penalties?
Yes.
Pretty significantly.
Yes, for cigarette permits, I think it's a 3-year period to get 2 violations, and then there's an increased penalty if they do that. They drop off after that time period. The other thing, too, is if their employees take, like, the pledge classes, they can get a pass for the civil penalty. We weren't presented with one related to this, but that is an option. Similar to liquor. Cigarette, tobacco, and vape is slightly different than the liquor, but they do have an increasing penalty system for future violations.
So do we have like who's out there doing this these days? Undercovers and.
That's
they're trying
what's
to
still
try beer-
occurring.
Try
Yes.
beer at Polycoffs and.
Yeah.
the,
Investigation still does stings or has underage.
We have stings still for smokes.
You do.
Huh?
That's what they call it. Then they get on the phone. Soho, they're out.
What division of that is the police department?
Through investigations, Captain Bertrand can probably comment.
Time for all this, dude?
That is an investigations function. Our special investigation unit will, kind of an interesting process. They'll get a consenting adult to come in that looks young, and then they send them in. They're obviously underage for the purchase of the product. They mic them up. We use some of our trickery technology for recording devices, et cetera, and we send them in, and they attempt to make a purchase. If they're asked for identification, they comply. They don't try to be sneaky that way, but then if they have a violation, they go ahead and assess it. The program that we presently have, both alcohol and our tobacco compliance checks are remunerated. So they basically are, each one we do, the state will reimburse us for the effort. So
Sucks growing up.
they're out to get you.
Passes 5-0. 17 is a hearing and resolution instituting proceedings to take additional action for the issuance of GO capital loan notes, GCP1. I'll move that. Second. Public hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Public hearing's closed. Passes 5-0. 18 is a hearing and resolution instituting proceedings to take additional action for the issuance of GO capital loan notes, GCP2. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. 19 is a hearing and resolution instituting proceedings to take additional action for the issuance of GO capital loan notes, ECP. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. 20 is a hearing and resolution approving the proposal to sell property adjacent to 2423 South Cypress Street. The petitioners Deborah and Timothy Angerman. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing's now open. Anybody to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. 21 is a hearing and resolution approving the proposal to sell property adjacent to 2121 West 7th Street. The petitioners James and Helen Anderson. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard?
Marty, can I ask a question? Marty, how do you differentiate, on item 20, it was $1.86 a square foot. On 21 and 22, it's 32 cents a square foot. How do you make that determination? Okay.
He's the expert on that.
Mick Morgan City Real Estate, so it's based off a formula that is determined on the assessed land value, price per square foot of every adjacent property. So some city property, or some property in the city is worth more than others, and therefore, that's why the variance.
Okay, so it's relative to the assessed value of properties in the area that affect the vacated value?
Correct, and land only, not buildings.
Just land? Okay, great, thank you. I won't ask again on item 22.
I was curious, though.
that hearing. Hearing closed.
I was literally thinking the same thing.
Passes 5-0. 22 is a hearing and resolution approving a proposal to sell property adjacent to 2101 West 17th Street, 1705 John Street, 1715 John Street, and the property adjacent to the 2101 West 17th Street, 2115 West Street, and 2117 West Street. The petitioners Michael and Hannah Dolan. I'll move that. Hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Citizens can come forward for citizen concerns.
Oh, no. There.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on, I guess I gotta wait. Did you get it?
I got the last.
5-0.
Here you go.
How are we doing today?
5-0. All right. All right, go ahead.
All right, Dylan Northrup. And if I can get the same respect last time, as you mentioned, Craig, I'll speak a little slower.
Okay.
Mayor Scott.
My mind just doesn't process as quickly, so.
All good.
There you go.
Mayor Scott, members of the council, my name is Dylan Northrup. I'm a Sioux City taxpayer and owner of DK Insurance. Before anything else, I want to address this council directly. Mayor Scott, I took some unnecessary shots at you during this process. I want to apologize for that. I've been working on this for about a year. This is my community, and every dollar the city doesn't save is a dollar that comes out of the taxpayer's pocket in this community. My frustration has never been with you guys. I think you're doing a great job so far. My frustration has always been with the departments involved in this proposal and the process they followed. Today, I want to show you what that process looked like because I now have the documents obtained through Iowa Code Chapter 22 Public Records Request. I want these specific departments to understand something. The Chapter 22 process works. I have unlimited time, I have the resources, and as you guys can see, I have the dedication. I do not think anyone in this building wants me to continue filing public records requests dissecting every internal communication that runs through these departments. All I have ever wanted is a conversation. I'm not here to be a problem, I'm here because I have a solution. But I want to be very clear, this plan will no longer be referred to as a double-dipping plan. Not in this chamber, not with the county, and not without a legal basis, which no one in the city has been able to provide. Every department is begging for money, and I know how to find $500,000 in projected annual savings, and potentially up to $4 million total composite impact without raising a single tax, and no one in the city has called back. I have no problem with the city's current broker, and I want to be clear about that. In all reality, we hope to work alongside them in the future as a frontline defense to their offering. When HR forwarded my proposal, they did exactly what a broker should do. They sent over an article and offered to go further. And I quote, "I will email the Champ guys and see what they come back and CC you if you're comfortable with that." The city should have said yes. They didn't, and what happened instead is where this gets uncomfortable. The city never directed the broker to follow up, and for 6 months, nothing happened. No meeting, no response, just finance citing regulations they could never name. Internally, the departments had pushed me off, but publicly, they simply told me to be patient. They were in a process. Until Director Fitch forwarded that broker article to Mayor Scott after I had reached out to him via phone call. And I quote, "Mayor, this is what was provided to us from the broker related to these types of insurance programs. The broker considers this type of plan double dipping, which is prohibited by the IRS." A general article became the city's official position, and here's what I find comical. On February 28th, that Saturday morning while I sat in the front row getting ready to address you for the first time, Director Fitch was texting you the memo so you could form an opinion before I'd ever spoke about the plan. When I asked city attorney to identify the legal authority behind the city's position, a statute, a ruling, a case, this is what she sent back. An online search yields many results. I left you each a 20-page binder. Nobody called, nobody emailed, nobody corrected the record. The internal emails produced in this Chapter 22 request reveal the actual basis for the city's position. It wasn't a statute, it wasn't a revenue ruling, it wasn't a court case because no one could name one. What's important to note is that on October 30th, 2025, HR Director Bertrand sent an internal email to Finance Director Fitch recommending the city move forward. She wrote that this would save the city money and that their recommendation was to at least try it out this year. This is what came back, and this is Teresa Fitch.
Dylan, can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
Who sent the email to whom?
So Director Bertrand sent the email to Finance Director Fitch.
Thank you.
Yep. And this is what came back. This is Fitch to Bertrand. In Mike and I's last conversation, we both agreed that we are not comfortable moving forward with this plan at this time. Not comfortable. That is the documented basis for declining this proposal. Increasing property taxes aren't comfortable. Listing health insurance costs as your #1 budget challenge for the 5th consecutive year in a row isn't comfortable. And it is not what nearly $500,000 in annual savings deserves. I want to address the double dipping concern directly because I agree with it. There are plans the IRS has challenged. Those should be shut down. We deal with this issue every day and we welcome the scrutiny.
Your company deals with it every day, or?
Yeah, we're well known. This plan runs in thousands of companies nationwide. We know about the double dipping rule, so that's why the opinion letter was sent with the proposal from the very beginning, because there's a line item in there that addresses this memo. In this hand, I have the broker memo, and in this hand, I have the opinion letter. The CHAMP plan uses 2 completely separate funding streams. Section 125, pre-tax dollars go directly to providers. They never come back. The second component is funded under post-tax Section 104A3, entirely separate. No dollar does double duty. This structure was specifically designed to avoid the double dipping. The city relied on the first document. The city never read the second one, even though they had it in their possession since day one. The Chapter 22 records also produce this. City Attorney Nicole Dubois writing Finance Director Fitch on January 21st. And I quote, "I can't find anything on this person other than a generic website." Not the plan, not the ERISA opinion, me. I provided a legal opinion, a 20-page analysis, and an offer to bring outside counsel at no cost to the city. The response was to look me up personally and report back what she found. If the plan had a legal problem, name the statute, but no one could. I'm not accusing anyone of criminal wrongdoing, but she told me to Google it, so I did. Arbitrary and capricious decision-making. A government decision that lacks rational basis and cites no authority at all can be found arbitrary and capricious. The city never named a statute, a ruling, or a case. It declined this proposal on an email from an incumbent broker. Breach of fiduciary duty to taxpayers. Public officials are legally obligated to act in the best interest of the taxpayers they serve. Nearly $500,000 in guaranteed annual savings. No independent analysis was ever conducted. No meeting was ever held. Iowa Code Chapter 68B, conflicts of interest. Iowa law prohibits decisions where financially interested party has undue influence over the outcome. The incumbent's broker's memo became the city's entire position. The city never disclosed that they had reached out to him even. I had to press to find that out. And the last one, Iowa Code Chapter 22, public records. Government records are public. Failing to produce a requested record without a privilege log is a violation. The broker's compensation agreement with the city was explicitly requested. It was not provided. No privilege log was provided. I want to be clear, I'm not making accusations. I'm not an attorney. I Googled these. I'm just a guy who typed in what happened, and these are the terms that came back. Make of that what you will. Every homeowner in this city got a property tax notice this month. 3 taxing entities, 3 cited health insurance costs at the primary driver. Same problem, 3 bills, and this is exactly why I'm standing here, and I'll continue to keep coming back, because the ripple didn't just stop at the city limits. Woodbury County was interested until they reached out to Teresa Fitch to ask where the city stood. Here's that exchange in writing, and I quote, "No, we have not had a change. I agree he is persistent. He also called the mayor, but he agreed due to pending litigation we would hold off. We finally just had to tell him that we as a city are not taking on the risk when the IRS doesn't support the plan structure being proposed. Pending litigation no one could name, an IRS position that doesn't even apply to this plan, 1 memo, 2 governments affected, and there wasn't much of a point reaching out to the third until I get this one corrected." And what I found very interesting when I really started looking at this, the proposed combined fiscal 2027 levy increase across all 3 entities is about $8.5 million. The CHAMP plan's proposed FICA savings and claims mitigation, I estimate it being over $10 million a year. I could have potentially completely offset this year's proposed increase with an additional $6 million potentially still going back to employee paychecks. That #1 budget challenge for this city and every entity on that tax bill is health insurance. I have a plan to slow that down, not with a tax increase, not with cuts, with the structure that we use every day. Before I close, I have 3 questions and I'd like an answer on the record. Councilmember Bertrand, if we could put an extra $1,500 to $2,500 per year in take-home pay in every pocket of every Sioux City employee, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I think it's a good thing, but I'm also going to follow up and say what I've kind of always said along to you is that my biggest question I have, it's a legit question, is why is no one else in the state using it?
Yeah, and I think
That's legit, dude. That's
yeah,
legit.
it is.
That is totally legit. That's the only thing it is.
For sure. And I think I addressed that the last time, that this is what it looks like when I can't just walk into
Trying to break ground, yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Like this has been a year-long process for me, and this is really what it looks like with municipalities, with school districts. So we focus more on the private sector, which is perfectly fine. I did find out that there are a couple of small cities on the other side of the state that do run this, and there are multiple cities nationwide. And I guess I just don't understand why it matters. But like Sioux City can lead on this. They can be the ones that figured it out. It's all on our property tax bill. I mean, every single entity lists health insurance costs, right? Councilmember Berenstein, if we could redirect first claim dollars away from the city's insurance plan and give every employee access to primary care, urgent care, prescriptions, preventative care, and mental health services at no cost, would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
Based upon what you shared tonight without sort of understanding the broader scope, it would be a good thing.
And that's troubling that we don't understand the broader scope, because I've left a binder and everything, for you guys that spells it out.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So is it your thought that the school district and the county can participate in this program as well?
Yeah, that's where I'm headed, but we got to get this corrected first. It is not, and that's been the entire basis, is that this is a double dipping plan, and the plan was specifically designed not to follow that double dipping prohibition with the IRS. And I can bring an outside counsel and walk through literally every line item. And the county was interested in it until they reached out to the city. And I'm going to the school board meeting tonight to begin this process. Like I said, I can, with hypothetical numbers, right? Like I'm just going off of what's public record. I could have pretty much wiped out the total levy increase this year on just FICA savings and claims mitigation. So, Councilmember, sure, if we could completely offset this year's $337,000 health insurance increase through FICA savings alone, would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know, because I don't know what the plan is. I mean, I get what you're saying, but my name's Shaner, by the way.
Oh, I apologize for that.
That's fine. You're putting us on the spot to get us to agree on the microphone.
I'm not playing any games here.
Well, I've never known the county to not do something that they choose to do or to operate their business the way they choose to operate it based on the city. So we're not stopping the county from doing anything they'd like to do, nor would we be able to stop the school from doing anything they want to do. So please feel free to continue to present to them. Don't wait for us.
Yeah,
Feel
I'm
free to
not going
present
to.
them. Good.
I'm not going to, but
Good.
I would like it corrected because they were completely wrong on this, so that's why
Well, I
I'm
think
here.
that's what you're doing, is you're correcting the record right now.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I understand that.
And I think it's important to recognize that the council and Mike Collette, all of our department heads, we seek opportunities every day to try and find ways to save funds for the community, whether it's directly related to the levy, whether it's to the enterprise funds or otherwise. So with what you're describing, if you believe that the analysis that's been done has not been done correctly, which is what I think you're alleging tonight.
Yes.
I think the council is more than comfortable asking staff to continue to review this question. It's been explained to us that there were issues with regard to the IRS review of these plans, and there was pending litigation that affected whether, and again, I know you said you don't want to use the word double dipping. That concept is not, from our perspective, where I think we want to sort of analyze the question. What we want to do is analyze whether this is a program that fundamentally can help the city, if the county can participate, if the school district can participate. I think we're all open to that dialogue. But it's gone through a process. I think the council as a whole has significant respect for Mike, for Teresa, for Nicole, and for all of our department heads. And when they give us input, when they give us analysis, we have the support to believe what they're telling us.
So it's your position that you believe that this received a fair process?
I can't speak to that because I didn't see the materials that were presented to you.
Yeah, there was nothing presented to me. There was a Gallagher memo. That's my whole position, is that they've only worked off of this. There was no process, Craig. That's my whole point here, is I would like a process. I'm not asking the council to adopt anything today. I'm asking finance to acknowledge there was never properly evaluated and that the basis for declining this was a broker memo that doesn't even apply to this structure, and I would like that corrected. Sioux City is the lead domino here. Woodbury County is watching, and there's a third entity that hasn't even had a chance to look
But
at
we're
it.
not the lead domino. We're three separate entities. We're not the lead domino. They do their budgets, we do ours. We're not the lead domino. I don't want you to feel that way about us because we're not.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, not only that, this doesn't, if in fact we want to do something in the area that you're talking about, we still have to seek proposals. We just can't award that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I'm asking is, can we arrange an independent ERISA attorney to walk the city through every aspect of this plan, every question, every concern, every technicality at no cost to the city? And I'm asking for that commitment for an independent ERISA review. Would you commit to that today, Mike?
Yeah, I think we would look at that with legal's assistance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with the brokers, our independent insurance advisor.
Absolutely. Bring an insurance advisor, bring the broker, bring legal. That's what I've been asking for this entire time. And I will bring out, an ERISA attorney that specializes in this literally every day, and they can walk you through line by line every technicality of the
I think
plan.
what the mayor pointed out, though, is we would still have to go through a proposal process to the public to be able to submit for this insurance type of plan.
Even on
in
the
general.
ERISA opinion, let alone the program, but even the ERISA opinion?
To have a fair and structured process, the city would have to do a request for proposals, which would outline qualified proposers before we could go to that step. Otherwise, it could appear that it was.
On the ERISA opinion or just the proposal of the plans?
Of the plan.
Okay,
On the
but
plan.
not if
No.
Dylan's company is offering to provide an ERISA opinion.
That's just a meeting.
That's
That's
yeah.
just information.
And that's not at
and-
our cost.
And the RFP, it's hard for me to wrap my head around that because, when I met with HR, they actually sent me over the payroll summary. I've already done a proposal. No one would meet with me to actually review it. So I actually have the analysis on we only did on 500 employees because it left out the police department and the fire for now. And I actually ran the proposal and the analysis on those 500 employees already, but no one would meet with me afterwards to even review that.
But just for clarification on how the city process will work, the majority of the time, the council has to authorize staff publicly to let them go forward with an RFP, put it out, and then authorize staff to negotiate a contract with the recommended proposer. So I know you mentioned different things about arbitrary, capricious, and so forth. Those usually come into play when there's a final vote of the council voting something up or down. We haven't gotten to that step yet. We have to publicly bid, we have to do RFPs, we have to do RFQs in order to fairly evaluate proposals and people that are interested in coming forward. It has to be an open process for others.
So even though they've submitted the payroll and I've already submitted a proposal back to you,
You're a step ahead.
that doesn't, got it.
In your homework.
So shouldn't the city have said, hey, here's what we need to do to get the process going versus me doing the analysis first? Isn't that how the process probably should have went? Or am I off there?
We have different, I guess, processes work a little bit different. I wasn't engaged in all of that, but if you asked for information, if you asked for the payroll information, they would send that to you.
Okay.
Okay. That would be a normal thing if it was requested to send that out.
Got it.
Not only that, it's, you have to.
And it's public information.
Understood. And that's all I'm asking for is the proper process to be followed here, so.
Well, Mike, you'll follow up with.
I will. Yep. Perfect. Thank you, guys. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Anyone else to be heard?
Hi, my name is Robin Shiro. I live at 311 East Washington Street in Elk Point. I used to work as an engineer for Nutriflow here in town, as well as CF Industries and also for Tyson in Dakota Dunes. And I'm asking the council, I'm a volunteer at your Pierce Mansion. I also wanted to let you know I'm hoping that I'm on the ballot to be a South Dakota legislature in Union County and Clay, and so I'm hoping I'm going to work with you on other projects, but this one is about the mansion, the Pierce Mansion. I volunteer there, and as a structural engineer, I see and I'm working with them on different projects that they have. One of them happens to be that they have a wall that was damaged by the sanitation department. He drove the waste truck into the wall and damaged it. There's a kind of like a fight going on of whether the sanitation department should pay for it or should the Pierce Mansion. Well, as we know, the Pierce Mansion doesn't have very much funds, and when its sanitation department actually caused it, I'll give you some pictures.
Who's the vendor?
I don't know who your vendor is. I'm sorry. That's not mine. I volunteer. But I did go to one of your trustees, museum trustee meetings just recently, and I asked for help there because I thought if I can handle it there, then I wouldn't have to come before you, trying to usurp the process of having to put it before you. But unfortunately, I was told that, well, there's a dissension of whether the sanitation department really is at fault and that you're self-insured, so why would we do that? Well, to me, I used to be a county commissioner in Colorado, and we were self-insured, a lot of the counties ourselves, and we still paid up when we felt we had made a mistake. And since you work and use, whether it's a contractor or not, the sanitation department for the city, as well as on the Sioux City Pierce Mansion, there should be a process of this getting completed. Structurally, this damage is just getting worse and worse. And the
I
longer...
don't mean to interrupt, Robin. When you're talking about the sanitation department, are you talking about waste management that was taking away solid waste?
Yes, but I don't know if it's your I didn't take time because it was just in a
Okay.
meeting this week, so I haven't had time to look to see who your contractor is.
Okay.
But if that's who you use, yes, that's who damaged it. We have a witness, a lady that saw it happen, and this has been going on, and I've been trying to get it paid for and fixed.
When did this happen, ma'am?
I think they said 2 years ago now. So it's been going on, and it's getting worse. If you look at the pictures, you can see how it's pushing out, and it's getting worse. And this is a public facility, and this is a facility that, you know, as a museum, it shouldn't just be left because the Pierce Mansion doesn't have funding to be able to fix it when it was really done by the sanitation department. So I would hope that maybe you would look into this and help me with this. Like I said, I'm only a volunteer there, but I am trying to help them with anything that they have. And I would like to let you know there's another issue. I went to your museum person also, and I let him know that the door is, the front door, the wooden, beautiful front door, that 100-year-old Victorian door, is being damaged because of rain and drainage coming in through the roof. I went out and tried to get 3 estimates in order for them to help them, to be able to say, you know, there's the roofing company and one of their current roofing company that they use often, which I thought as an engineer and as a county commissioner, you should get 3. You would think you would get 3 estimates, and I tried to get 3 estimates. I got 2. But the one was willing to cut off money on the roof in order to help because it's a public facility, and his parents had their anniversary party there, and so they would cut $100 off and let us pay it $100 a month. But your staff is not open to this stuff, and I don't understand. As volunteers, we're trying hard to keep this facility upkeep and keep it, you know, so that it's available to the public. And everything I come up with and try to help with, it just seemed to fall on deaf ears. So I guess I'm coming to you because of that, and I hope that maybe you can look into this and see. One of the contractors that I asked for the roofing, he said he doesn't do flat roofs, yet that's the museum's current contractor that they say they use. So, I mean, I just would like to help this Pierce Mansion because, like I said, I am a volunteer, but also I'm an engineer. I can help in any way I can. And being retired, you know, I want to help if I can, free of charge as a volunteer. So if you could please look into these issues, I would really appreciate it.
I'll follow up with Steve. I'll follow up with, yeah, Steve Hansen. See what.
Yeah, Steve is who I talked to,
Okay.
yeah. And to look on the other side, he did help me because I'm also working to get the Union County Museum opened up. And he gave me documents that shows their rental of policies and prices and things. So he's really been helping me. It's not a negative on that. It's just that everybody wants to say that, well, you know, it's going to get taken care of, but it's not. It's not getting taken care of. That wall is getting damaged more and more every day. So I'd appreciate if you could look into it. Thank you.
We will. Thank you, Robin.
Anyone else? Seeing none, Mr. Bertrand?
Couple things, real quick. I see Dolly's gone, so she'll have to watch this online. So we had a pretty good wrap-up meeting, and preliminary numbers looks like, you know, as we all know, that when it comes to the levy and taxing authority, it's a 3-legged stool between the city, the county, and the school board. And each one of us has the responsibility to do our share. That was a commitment that this new council made, is that, you know, this is our first bite at the apple as a new council, and we're very proud of our efforts. And as you see right now, after Wednesday in the wrap-up, preliminarily, we're looking at about a 13.85% decrease on the residential side. That's almost 14% decrease on the city's residential. What does that mean? That means it's $113 per 100,000. So if you've got a $300,000 house, your property tax is going to be reduced by about $350, and some people may say that's not a big deal, but it's also not going up $350. So we're very happy that was our first bite at the apple. And on the commercial side, it was a reduction of almost 26.8%, almost 27%, which is roughly about $399 per thousand. So if you've got a $300,000 building, it's about a $1,200 decrease. That's going to get lost. It's not sexy. So what I'm saying today is that I'm calling on is for the county to do their share. I'm calling on the Sioux City School District to do their share. This council did it. The pressure's on them. They've got a conservative county board. Do your job. Reduce the levy and come on board with what's going on in the community. Also in the school district, you're sitting on an unrestricted balance. Use it. You have 4 buckets to buy down. Use it. Do the right thing. join where the community is. So again, I want to officially call on for the county and the district on that side of it, Mr. Mayor. And we'll move on. Second of all, on the spec buildings, the process, I talked to Mike on that. I would like to get an update on where we're at on the two 50,000 square foot buildings. We've talked to a couple guys that we want to know the process now. They want to know the process to identify the sites and to get the bidding process going on those two sites, north and south, north and Morningside. So good way forward coming out of our budgeting meetings. But again, let's go. Let's go. Next, also then, I'm going to ask Gordon and I'm going to ask Daryl also a little homework assignment is first on Gordon on this one. We talked about the retention pond issue, and this is me being supportive. We had a really nice meeting this week with Gordon, talking about solutions, the solution become part of the solution. And as we all know, retention and retention water, retention ponds is a huge issue when it comes to development. Many times it's a deal killer. He's uncovered some ordinances that will work to our advantage to help facilitate retention. That's going to take some action from us as the council members to set some rates that you can buy down some of this water retention areas. I didn't know anything about it. Not gonna lie to you. As a developer, and I talked to other people, didn't know anything about it. It's there. We just need to set the rates and to figure out a way that we can shift things around. So I wanted that presented to us if we could, Gordon, here in the next couple of weeks. That'd be great. And I appreciate that suggestion. And you're gonna talk.
Yeah, sorry.
You're good.
Just to clarify, yeah, I am currently working on that.
Excellent.
I'm talking to different cities. A couple of weeks, it may take a little bit longer than that, but yes, I will. I'm working on that.
And let's don't take the easy path, which is just match dollar for dollar on what an underground tank. Let's find out, the real solutions on that. It's an option for a developer to keep the project going. You know what I mean? Type things. And I have confidence in you. Third one is demo. I'm bringing up every time we don't talk about permits. The demoing of those 3 buildings in the brownstones. Where are we at on the update there? Let's talk about it every week. Where are we at? Do we know?
Yeah, I think Daryl's moving forward.
They're nasty. Let's get them out of there.
He's moving forward. I misspoke. It won't even need to be at the placard hearing. I think it's already
I
been.
saw Daryl earlier. I saw him at.
Get them out of there. It's time.
I saw him at 3:30 and he said it would not require coming back.
Excellent. Also then moving forward on the sister city on the rate increases, we had gotten notice possibly. I was talking at a great meeting with Tom on this also. Not just, Teresa, I think you're working on those, aren't you? The rates we talked about on our sister cities. I know that we got an interesting email from Sioux on their accelerating about coming off of our system, which I thought was an interesting email. But again, I would look forward to seeing those numbers and also any other fees that are come from us, any other departments we talked about. I'd like you to present those. So any fees we get from sister cities, could you please present the current rates and where they're at? Anything that anybody else pays us for from fees, let's take a look at it as a council. Their rates are going up. Pat, you're back there right now. We did that tour on 18th Street. Man, I'm still looking at them pallets. Clean it up. Can't ask the community to clean up their stuff if we can't clean up our sites. I know we're in the process. I gave you 5 weeks. It's been a couple. Man, let's clean it up. You're the man. Okay. And then I'd also like to see to educate the public and myself is Mike, and in the next couple of weeks, can you throw a process together that explains the red tag process? Because right now there's an issue I know we have in different areas with squatters and stuff. I think there's a little bit of questions on what gets red tagged and why. And I think it'd be a great community refresher on that. Almost done, Mr. Mayor. The LAC ride program, we talked about getting a memo there. As we talked about it, our jail is stuck out in the middle of everywhere. And I'd like to just see us put options in front of this council to throw some dollars at giving them, you made a good suggestion, not giving them a ride down to the transit center, but giving them a ride over to Walmart, which would be a shorter, cheaper ride and accomplish the same thing on that end of it. Other than that,
That's a cost share with the county you're talking
we're hoping, yeah, actually we can get a little cost. I think
They've projected
I think
nothing.
we can't do the bus route. We know that and everything, but I went back and I looked at some of what other communities do, and it's interesting that when they put a prison into rural areas, they actually provide a ride back. Yep. And so we're kind of falling in that in-between space.
Council Bluffs.
And maybe we do a cost share with the county. We shake them down for 5 and we do 5, and then we just see how much it's used. But then nobody can come back and say, and the big thing here is the trailer court, because there's no sidewalks, as we all know. They walk right down the center, and then they get tired, and they wander in, and they're either drinking out of a hose bib or something like that in the trailer court, and that's not fair to those guys. So this way, at least we offer it to the public.
I think if I remember right, didn't the CERTS program submit a proposal to
Well, let's move on it.
Yeah, I think
Let's
we
dig it
just-
up and let's move on it.
I think there was a
That proposal was
maybe
for
6
the
months ago, and it was
but
like
that was for the-
$40 a ride.
That was for the city to pay for that.
Right.
There was no county participation
Right.
at that point.
And this is looking like a $15 ride, it's like a flat rate. I mean, we're talking to some of these people that might just do it for $15 on an ad hoc basis to take them over to Walmart, which would be great. Other than that, it was a great, what'd they say, it was a 103-degree difference between Saturday to Saturday. And so it's interesting, but anyway, it's a good week.
Just a couple quick things. I have my monthly chamber meeting tomorrow. If anybody has anything they need shared with the chamber, let me know. Also have a downtown partners meeting on Thursday. Encouraged, we had interviews last Friday for the business liaison person for the Downtown Partners Organization, and had some really encouraging interviews. We should know more on that Thursday. Anxious to get your input, Mike, if you want a council representative to assist in the CHAMP program that Dylan was sharing. I'd be happy to help, but I know that I'm guessing that all council members would be happy to, so if you want to pick somebody, that'd be great. And then I just want to congratulate Iowa State, and Nebraska. I know the Iowa women did lose today, which is disappointing. As a Hawkeye fan, I don't know that I've ever been as excited as I was last night watching the Iowa men beat Florida, but I'm congratulating Iowa State, and while I'm congratulating Nebraska, I do hope they don't win on Thursday night, so, because they play Iowa. That's it.
Thanks, Mayor. I had the opportunity to attend the NAIA attorney and what's going on here, and so I'm just always proud of the job that is being done with Sioux City and hosting that. We do such a great job, and just the comments that people are saying. Also had an opportunity to attend the Arts Center fundraiser, and to my compadre, Mr. Bertrand, they did a good job of trying to pull some more money out of their donors. So, so they are taking it to hand. But they do have a Grant Wood art piece that they are showcasing, and to get things like that in Sioux City is just phenomenal. And so I would encourage everyone to go and visit that. And then I just want to thank Captain Sioux City PD. I have a business downtown, and we've had some vagrant issues and some things going on in the alley, and the response. And even with the Heart team, jumping on it. So thank you for jumping on that and being a part of that and getting some of those alleys taken care of, because we see them coming out. So, thank you.
Julie,
I have nothing for today.
move we adjourn.
Second.
Rayford,
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Berenstain.
Aye.
Bertrand.
Aye. Thanks.